Welcome to the 12th Horseshoe podcast on Surge Sports. I'm Elijah Weintraub, joined alongside, as always, by Jack Rizzo. Jack, welcome. And technically, it's been a crazy week. Let's just say the least. I mean, we were expected to be a show every other week, but after what just happened in these past 3 days, if not four, it was so much that we needed an episode today. So, Jack, welcome. And how are you feeling after all this crazy news stories that have happened over the last 5 days or so?
Certainly overwhelmed. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of obviously yesterday was the deadline for the franchise tag, so a lot of players get tagged. We've seen a couple of contracts given out today. We've seen a couple of potential trade proposals. We've seen a lot of players released actually.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been a crazy last couple of days, and the new league year starts in 6 days from now, Wednesday, March 13th. Believe at 3 or 4 p.m. I forgot what time it starts, but
Probably 4 p.m. makes sense.
That's when contracts that are given out, trades, they can start to become official. Yep. Correct. So yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. Let's get right to it.
And before we begin, we have a comment from, I believe this is going to be Luke. Hey, Eli and Jack, how are you guys doing? And we're doing great. Thank you for joining us, and should be a fun one to look forward to. And I think today we got to start off with the biggest news, I think, of the week so far. Russell Wilson.
Yep. I knew it.
Has been released by the Denver Broncos, but all is well as he earns himself $39 million.
In addition to all the other money he received from the Broncos.
Correct. All right, let's get to our thoughts. I mean, I'll go first since I'm the
go first. Person. Enlighten me, Eli.
Don't worry, I will enlighten you. Here's what I have to say. Sean Payton gave no chance to Russell Wilson, and I'm going to give my honest reason. He did bring Seattle to the Super Bowl. I'm not surprised the decision was made. However, I thought it was early. Sean Payton just took over 1 year, and it was like a horrible move. They still had chances of playoffs. They benched Russell Wilson. Clearly, it was just they didn't agree with each other. On the other hand, look at the games. 70-20 was the final score. Highest scoring game this season in the NFL. I believe there's one more other higher scoring one. But those little mistakes were incredible. The previous year or two, it was not exactly the best either. It was a rough road for Russell Wilson. This ultimately came down as the worst trade for the Denver Broncos, not for the Seattle Seahawks, of course, as because Seattle worked out in favor. They got a bunch of draft picks, top guys. We got Witherspoon, all those great guys. So you cannot say for Seattle it did not work out. But for the Denver Broncos, it absolutely failed. Where is Russell Wilson going to go next? That is the biggest question. I don't even know. The only possibilities I can think of is maybe the Steelers, maybe the Commanders, maybe the Vikings. I honestly
maybe the Raiders.
Like, which team really wants to secure the deal? Will he become the Jets' backup quarterback? Because we don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
No way. Russell Wilson.
That is my bold take. I'm going to put that out there.
He would higher than do that.
Russell Wilson goes to the Jets.
We don't know yet. I think it really depends on what team he goes to.
I don't think he is yet, but I would not be surprised if he becomes backup for the Jets. He should go to the Giants.
No, they're going to draft a quarterback.
Other New York team, good choice.
He's not going to go to the Giants. They're either going to – the only New York team he's actually going to go to are the Yankees, because technically he was under contract with them.
That is correct. He was with the Yankees.
Maybe he'll make the switch to baseball. Why not?
Yeah, why not? So, honestly, and the conclusion before we get to Jack's thoughts about Russell Wilson – it's going to be an interesting run. I don't know where he's going to go next. It could be the Steelers. It could be the Jets as the backup. That's my bold take, because if they're having Zach Wilson go, that's my bold take. All right, guys? And yeah, that's my thoughts about Russell Wilson. Sorry about that. Seattle worked out for you. Should be a great year. Over to you, Jack.
Yeah, this just really – clearly the Broncos – decided they were going to move on long before the offseason started. It became clear around midseason they were going to move on from him. It became an issue with his contract and the injury guarantees. That's why he was benched for the final 2 weeks. But at the same time, I mean, the Broncos were still in the playoff race, so it is a little confusing. But Wilson, he is leaving Denver now, only started, I believe he started 30 games for them. over these 2 years, and he went, I believe, 11-19. So that's not really that great for Russell Wilson.
High contract
You
too.
know, but I mean, to be fair, it's really not all his fault. The Broncos have been in quarterback purgatory since Peyton Manning retired after Super Bowl 50. You think about it, that's nearly a decade ago now. So it's been a long time for the Broncos. That's also the last time they made the playoffs was that Super Bowl run in the
Right,
2015
Super Bowl 50.
2016 season. But yeah, good luck to Russ wherever he goes. Maybe the Steelers, maybe the Falcons, maybe the Raiders, maybe the Commanders. We don't really know, but we'll see. Let's go to the next news though.
I'm sticking to my Jets take though. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Broncos also released safety Justin Simmons as of this week as well. Off of the Broncos. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to get to EI, but I don't know if you've seen the free agent safety
Yes,
class
I
we have
was.
coming up. You're going to say that? All right, go
No,
to your
go
next
ahead.
point. I was just
No, go
all
ahead,
right.
Jack.
Well,
No, I didn't.
okay.
You're breaking up, so go ahead. Go.
Oh,
You can
okay.
mention it. Yeah.
Oh, yep. So again, there is a lot of new safeties. This free agent class, so many. Like this is probably the best safety free agent class we've ever seen. So many former
Yeah.
Pro Bowlers and all pros. It's honestly crazy. I'm trying to find a list real quick. Give me a second.
I know the players that are not tagged. I have that list, and that is Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Michael Unwin, Baker Mayfield, and Calvin Ridley. They've all not been tagged so far. These are all rather running backs, defensive tackles, offensive linemen, quarterbacks, or wide receiver positions. Pretty big names out there. For the Giants' perspective, I'll start with Saquon Barkley. I don't see why the Giants would want to take Saquon Barkley back and re-sign him. They tried to give him another opportunity this year, and it clearly did not work out. It led to some injuries, some missed time. They had no run the regular season. So I think it was a smart decision to not have Saquon Barkley tagged at the moment. Will I see him? Maybe. Possibility. Comment from Luke again. Who do you guys think is going number one in the draft? And do you think the Jets will do good in 2024, 2025?
All right, I'll go first here.
Go.
Caleb Williams.
Absolutely.
That's
Number one.
for sure. That's been known for like a year, and no, the Jets will not be good next year. So sorry.
At all. Listen, Caleb Williams, 100% guarantee on that one, unless the Bears make some pretty bad mistakes. Then absolutely, we will see some changes. Other than that, do I think the Jets will have a good season? Absolutely not sure. And the reason why is because we don't know how healthy Aaron Rodgers is going to be.
That's very true.
We could say right now he could play all 17, 16 games, whatever the league decides to do after the 18 push rule thingy. But he may not even, he might play another 4 seconds of another game and be done. So we honestly don't know. I can't really tell. I think it's too early. Once we see how the summer training has been going and all that, I think I'll clearly say, all right, yeah, maybe the Jets will have a decent season, but I do not think so as my early prediction if you prefer it, but I really am not 100%.
We're still a while away from that, though, so
Yeah.
still a long way to go before the season starts. I will say, though, so obviously we have all the players get franchise tagged, but we also had quite a lot of players get released, and specifically the safety free agent class this year is absolutely ridiculous. I have a list right here.
Go ahead, yeah.
From Ari Mirov at My Sports Update on Twitter.
Yep.
The free agents who are set to hit the market: Xavier McKinney, Kyle Duggar, Justin Simmons, Cameron Curl, Eddie Jackson, Kevin Byard, Julian Blackmon, Geno Stone, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, couple Seahawks there, Eli. Darnell Savage, Jeremy Chin, Rayshawn Jenkins, Jordan Whitehead, Tracy Walker, and Jordan Fuller. That is a loaded safety class. Those are all fantastic football players.
Now, for the Seattle Seahawks perspective, I'll give my take real quick on it. Quandre Diggs, big one. Very big one. I was very shocked about that one. In regards to Jamal Adams, he didn't play as much this season, and when he did play, he left to the locker room, and that was during the Monday night game that both of us were at. So, to be fair, Jamal Adams leaving is not going to hurt Seattle, in my opinion, but will maybe hurt is Quandre Diggs, who did have a decent run with Seattle. Comment again from Luke. I thought Justin Simmons was good.
Yeah. Oh, no. He was talking about Jamal Adams, not Justin Simmons.
Jamal Adams. Okay. Got it.
Oh, maybe you said Justin Simmons. That's why. No, I think Eli, you
Oh,
mentioned
yeah,
while
yeah.
Adam.
The Broncos safety Justin Simmons that was released. That was right after I mentioned Russell Wilson before we got into the releases stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Really good player.
All right.
All right.
Let's continue on with the list. Meanwhile, a safety that got a big contract extension that will go into effect soon. Tyrann Mathieu from the Saints. He
Tyrann
receives
Mathieu, yeah.
yes, Matthew, 2-year, $13 million contract. Saints released wide receiver Michael Michael Thomas. That's a
Yeah, it's
big
not
name.
surprising.
Not
It
surprising, but yeah.
crazy how good he was like 4 years ago, and he's played like 20 games the last 4 years. It's crazy how far Michael Thomas fell off. The injuries, some character concerns, I think. It was certainly surprising to see Michael Thomas fall off that much.
Meanwhile, a safety that did do good from the Buffalo Bills, Taylor Rep, agrees to a 3-year, $14.5 million deal. That's a
Who
interesting
did?
name there.
Say it.
Taylor Rep.
Rep?
Yeah, Rep. Yeah, Rep.
Who did he agree to? Do you say it again?
Bills, 14.5 million 3-year deal.
Okay. We actually have a couple other deals to get to too that just broke.
Yep.
Well, first off, before we do, let's talk about the players who were franchise tagged.
Right. Let us go to that. Yep.
The deadline was yesterday, and we had a total of, I believe, we had 9 players overall who got tagged this offseason. So, do you have the list here, or do you want me to read it?
Go ahead. I have a few players, but go for it.
All right. So, the players who are franchise tagged here in 2024, Josh Allen, the linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, not the quarterback. There's 2 Josh Allens in the NFL.
I actually got confused when I saw that, believe it or not. But yeah, apparently there's another Josh Allen in the league.
Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers, the defensive end for the Carolina Panthers. Kyle Duggar, the New England Patriots. So he's not really a free agent. Technically, he is because he can speak to other teams. But nope, Kyle Duggar is on the transition tag. T. Higgins of the Bengals. That's a really big one. Really
huge
big player in that offense. Jalen Johnson for the Bears was franchise tagged. We'll get to why he's not anymore in just a second.
All right.
Justin Madubuike, who had a breakout year with the Ravens this year. I was about to say the Orioles for some reason, but had a breakout year with the Ravens.
Not baseball season, Jack. Not yet.
Almost.
Not yet, though.
13 sacks last year really helped the Ravens. Michael Pittman of the Colts, of course, that one hits close home to me. Of course, I know the Colts pretty well. It looks like they're still interested in getting a deal done. They just couldn't get one in time before the deadline, so they made sure to put the tag on him. And then L'Jarius Sneed of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, what's interesting in his case is that the Chiefs have already given him permission to seek a trade, and that seems more likely to happen to him than he gets paid by the Chiefs. It is a non-exclusive tag as well, so the non-exclusive tag, teams can speak to other players, and they can present offers, but the team that has rights to them can match the offer, or if they don't want to, they can get 2 first-round picks in compensation for him. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was also tagged. Yeah, so those are all the players that got franchise tagged. However, Jalen Johnson no longer franchise tagged because he and the Bears agreed just today.
4-year, $76 million.
A 4-year, $76 million contract for the all-pro cornerback last year. Well-deserved for sure. A great signing by the Bears, keeping him right there in Chicago. He's going to be a big part of that young Bears defense. A lot of promising stuff there in Chicago. A lot of good draft assets. A lot of really good stuff there in Chicago. If they could just, if they can find the right quarterback, if they can build the right team, they have a pretty bright future ahead of them.
Absolutely, 100% sure. Comment from Luke again. What does the franchise tag mean? So basically, if they don't give new contract extensions, they can try to tag him to at least guarantee a 1-year deal. So they did that with Saquon Barkley. They gave him a year deal, and then it's their option now to re-sign him for a better contract or a franchise tag him again for another 1-year deal. Jack, have any other better way to describe it?
No, you did. You did it. You pretty much did exactly. You did it exactly. You said exactly as it is, Eli. Good job. We also had, of course, the Rams and their guard Kevin Dotson, who really was really not much of a player until this year. Agreed to
he stepped it up, and he deserved the contract.
A 3-year, $48 million contract. Not really an extension because he was I guess an extension, but he was a free agent coming into this offseason. $32 million guaranteed for him. Really good deal for them, honestly. Pretty solid. So yeah, that's I think that's a pretty good deal for
that is a pretty good list and a pretty good deal indeed. Other just some other notes that I have. Overall, non-franchise tag related at the moment. I'll get to those real quick. Unless you want to add anything else for the franchise tag, Jack, before I get to some other stories real quick.
Do you have other free agent news? Do you have the Mike Evans news covered in there?
Yes, I do. I believe. Yes.
Okay. We'll get to that later. And then,
Yep.
Jonnu Smith signed a 2-year, $10 million contract today with the Miami Dolphins. We don't really
Yes,
need to talk
indeed.
much more about that. He's just a tight
Right.
end. Moving on.
Bills agreed to trade offensive lineman Ryan Bates to Chicago. In exchange, they will get fifth-round draft picks. This could be crucial. That will eventually go through on March 13th. Other news happening. Buccaneers safety Anthony Winfield Jr., as you mentioned, was tagged. Buccaneers Mike Evans agrees to a 2-year, $52 million deal. What are your thoughts about this, Jack? I think it's a pretty good one. Mike Evans is a huge, incredible player, and I think this will be very beneficial to the Buccaneers and their success story upcoming.
Yeah. Playing with a playoff contender, has a Super Bowl ring,
Yep.
playing in great weather, no taxes. Mike Evans is very smart for this. You know,
Smart man.
so I think it's a good move. Hopefully the Bucks can keep Baker as well. That would be a huge loss losing him. So hopefully they can keep Baker. But pretty solid move though. Mike Evans, one of the most consistent. I feel like when it's all said and done, he's gonna go down as one of the most underrated receivers of all time. Even though he's playing now, I feel like 15 years down the road when he's retired, everyone's going to forget about him and just how consistent he was.
Absolutely.
He's never been the best receiver in the league, but he's always been one of the most consistent. 10 straight years of 1,000+ receiving yards. No other receiver in the league has ever done that. Not Jerry Rice, not Tim
Nope.
Brown, not
Nobody else.
Marvin Harrison, not Terrell Owens, not Randy Moss, not anyone. So Mike Evans is already a Hall of Famer, even if he were to retire today, just because
winner.
that's that. And of course,
Absolutely.
the Super Bowl champion. And yeah, it's a great deal
Which
for Tampa
qualifies him.
Bay, for sure.
Absolutely. And Luke said he is a top 10 wide receiver in the league. No question.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can argue. You can even argue top 5 if you want. I don't know if I'd go that far, but
I wouldn't go that far,
10,
but
though.
definitely top 10 in the league. Absolutely. All right. Other news happening. Jason Kelce officially retired following his speech on Monday. Very emotional for both Philadelphia and the Kelce brothers. Congrats, Jason, on a incredible run. Next up, Jets released tight end CJ Zuma. So that is interesting news. We are less than 50 days until the NFL draft. So that is exciting because we are going to be having a special draft party show. More details to be announced. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll work on those details. But it should be a great one upcoming. Final quick up news, 2 stories. NFL Network's Good Morning Football will be taking a pause as they are ending their New York City run and permanently moving the show to the NFL Network media headquarters in Los Angeles. And their show will also be now a 2-hour show instead of the previous run that they had now. So that's going to be some interesting one. We'll see if it does take away from their normal Good Morning Football style
And
show.
also, let's not forget that there's a 3-hour time difference between here and
That
LA.
is true. So you'll definitely see them very tired because when it's 7 o'clock here, it's 4 o'clock there. And when it's 9 o'clock here,
it's 6
it's
o'clock
6
there.
o'clock there.
Yeah.
So it's an earlier morning for them. Welcome to the West Coast. Have fun. Finally, we have to report a passing. Lead NFL reporter for ESPN, Chris Mortensen, has passed away at the age of 72. He has been reporting for the NFL and ESPN for a while. He was one of those top guys that everybody went to and trusted. He is a top-notch reporter. Our thoughts and prayers to the entire ESPN family as well, his family as well. Jack, any other notes or things that we need to discuss before we wrap it up for tonight?
Well, I wanted to have a quick discussion, Eli, here, just for a few minutes while we have some time.
Yes, absolutely.
The NFL is trying to convince the NFL Players Association to expand the regular season to 18 games potentially. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the season should go to 18 games?
100%. I think more football, more better. And I think obviously the biggest reason why they want to go to 18 games, Jack, and I think it's because of the money. And we stress about it. I stress about it a lot. Jim stresses about it a lot on Sports Mano. It's all about the money in reality.
That's what happens in Western society.
Pretty much. But in reality, though, I would appreciate it, though. I would love it because then that's an extra week of football. The Super Bowl would get pushed back another week, which would equal President's Day week, if I'm not mistaken. And that will be beneficial to those people that, I guess you could say, party a lot.
But here's a question here, Eli, for you. If the NFL adds an extra week, do you think they should add a second bye week so there's 20 weeks in a season? Wouldn't it make more sense
absolutely
to have 20,
not.
Wouldn't it make more sense to have 20 weeks in a season than 19? 20 sounds better.
It's 18.
No, but it'd be no because 20 weeks though, because 18 games and 2 bye weeks would equal 20 weeks. I think that's what they should do, and then they
But
should
then
cancel.
you're gonna
They should
have the Super Bowl in March, though. You got to keep that in mind.
move the start of the season to a week earlier then, and
I don't
take
know.
out the
I think it's gonna
preseason.
be one step at a time at this point. I think they may get past the 18 game rule. I don't see 2 buys though. That is a little extreme. I think
They used to have 2 buys though.
I'm sure they did, but I just don't see. I think that's gonna be a little extreme, and I don't think that'll work out. At the end of the day, if you want the Super Bowl in March, if you want things to be pushed back, it's going to be an issue. And at the end of the day, the Super Bowl has been known for like a February sport, and then it's the lead off to other sports. To push it all the way back to March, think about it. 2 weeks, you push it back, that's almost March, pretty much the Super Bowl. You're going to be competing with March Madness, start of baseball, hockey, who's trying to build up, basketball, trying to build up. So I do think that the NFL needs to be conservative about what they're saying and what they do. It'll make the offseason less, exciting and stressful, I think, in my opinion. So I believe 18 games, 1 bye, good enough, make everybody happy. And I do think that it will pass. Jack?
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. I don't really think we have much more news to talk about here.
For the Devils' perspective, from the New Jersey Devils side, they fired Lindy Ruff, their head coach. That's pretty much the news. All right. Well, that'll do it for us here on the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. We appreciate you guys for watching. Take a look at our Twitters and Instagram/Twitter or Instagram accounts for the latest information on when our next show will be. We'll be every other week. Maybe we'll be on next week, depending on how much news is available. And don't forget, of course, on the NFL Draft Day, we'll be live for a 4-hour special as we'll be live covering the NFL Draft. We'll have guests and so much fun and more. So stay tuned right here, of course, on Search Sports YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe as well to the channel so you can catch other content that we have and produce and do on the show as on the network and all that fun stuff. All right, that'll do it for us here for Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub. Good night. We'll see you on sometime next week or maybe the following week. Go Devils, go Seahawks. Good night.